Definitely.
Go.
Here's our next project, 63 Chevy Nova. It is a member of our customer's family. He's had it since high school. It's in his wedding photos. The keys didn't leave his pocket till about 20 years ago. He hung it up and he likes to joke that it's a barn find car, even though he found it in his own barn. We are going to update this thing and get it so that he can actually hop in and use it on the weekends. He's very busy, so that's the reason it ended up sitting. So we're gonna make this thing so when he has an extra Saturday afternoon, he can just jump in with his wife and cruise. So first, a lot of the exterior isn't gonna change just because of nostalgia and how long he's had it. But there are definitely a few things that will be getting changed. This grill, neither one of us would really like it at all. So we've got some cool changes going on up here that will eliminate these ugly marker lights, clean the bumper area up.
We're putting the coolest grill ever.
Yes, definitely the coolest grill ever
on it. You wait and see.
The engine compartment, which you'll notice immediately was well loved in the 80s, has all of the steel braided freaking hoses and anodized red fittings. They took every bit of frills off this thing. There's no power steering, there's no power brakes, just all business, chrome and an alternator. Got rid of the heater somehow, and as most people know, back then you loved to add horsepower. Nobody cared if you stopped, obviously, by the fact that the original brake master cylinder is still on there.
It's adorable.
It is, but it will kill you if you lose a brake line. So the engine package order that's going in here will be amazing. Plus pretty much everything from the firewall forward will be getting replaced. That will be very cool. Any pieces of trim that are missing on this thing are missing because we took them off, but we're not sure whether they're going back on. This trim here is a 1-year only thing. It was obviously hard to find in the 80s. It's almost impossible to find in good shape now. The 80s, this piece was completely replaced with the passenger side, where they put it back on upside down, which was a great idea at the time. In fact, it went unnoticed for 35 years. The back end, the owner wants to run the paint color straight through the trunk panel here, so this will no longer be the gray, which brought us to this trim piece that framed it in, which will be absolutely useless at that point. He really wanted to do something subtle in the back, maybe add a spoiler or something, but that changed the look of the car so much that we came up with this really subtle, almost spoiler-ish trim delete panel, and that'll give us a really nice deep look to the back end.
Made with some imagination tape.
Yeah, exactly. Rear bumper will get fitted, put in a little bit better, but they actually did a pretty good job in the factory of fitting those, so there are very subtle changes that'll be going on back there. The interior, it came originally when we looked up the number with buckets, but they swapped it over to a bench. Very clean, other than it doesn't smell very clean right now.
Smell-o-vision.
It definitely smells like it's been in a barn for 20 years. But it will be going back to buckets again. Stick shift, very minimal changes on the inside other than color, make it more comfortable. But yeah, so that's about it. We're gonna start tearing this thing apart, getting everything bagged and tagged, get the paint off, and we'll start sending you pictures of all the cool parts going in this thing. All right, so here it is so far. Getting ready to start doing some vacuuming. We got most of the mouse houses out, at least on this side. It was quite packed full. I had to use a screwdriver to get it out of here around the springs for the rear convertible top. Actually found a nice little skeleton right up here next to the tunnel, and don't really see anything that looks too rotted, rusted, destroyed. We'll know more once we get the wire wheel to this and really start clearing it out. Around the front, Amy's up here getting the grill, trim, headlights, all the little pieces up off of the front. So it's moving right along. We are at 85% destruction on the car, so pretty much everything you're looking at right now will be gone, replaced, brand new subframe, new inner fenders, new motor, transmission, everything from the firewall forward will be gone. So we're not too concerned with that. This windshield will be coming out next, wiper blades, that stuff, and we'll get all this trim off, figure out whether we're going to chrome it, clean it, whatever. We got this gigantic pile of seats that were just huge mouse condominiums. That's the second garbage bag full, the less disgusting garbage bag full, and then probably that shop vac is probably packed and disgusting. But we're gonna finish vacuuming these up and we'll just store them upstairs. The floor, we've got a little wire wheeling to do, get the fuzz off of it, make sure there isn't any rust that we missed anywhere, but the normal spots that are completely toasted are okay. We found some patches for the front up here, so that'll all be getting brand new toe boards and that. And this back here, where the convertible mechanism all goes, it's usually rotted out, is in good shape. So we'll wire wheel that, cover it in KBS, make sure it doesn't get rusted. A lot of the section back here, the wheel tubs are getting extended like 2 inches. So a lot of this stuff will come out and get remade. But we're pretty much set so that the next day when we come in here, we will just start stripping all of this paint off, get everything down to bare metal, and make our list of patches and pieces we need to order to get this thing back into running shape. Stripped, got around all the pinch, all of the spot welds and everything on this back package tray area here behind the seat, because we're gonna have to remove that and some of these structure here so we can get the new tubs put in, so this thing can have some nice big fat meats. I think the tubs we got coming are gonna add like an extra 2 inches, I believe, in the rear back there. This all looks very, very good. So I'm not seeing a whole lot of repair work we have to do on this main part of the floor. All the structure, framework, everything is freaking beautiful. Get up here, it's a little less desirable, but I did find patch panels right and left for this front section, and I believe we're going to have to do some work on the tunnel to get the 6-speed in here anyway, so not a big deal there. That all handled. Most of the areas that are super rotten on these cars is in really good shape on this one. Got a little bit of work to do back here behind the door. Of course, I haven't stripped the paint off the bottom of the rear quarters yet, so we'll get to that here soon and figure that out, what we got to do back there. And of course, everything on the front is still on, but everything you're looking at right now will be gone when it goes over on the fab side. We'll rip that whole front sub off and leave the tub. So I'm going to get back to stripping paint. Alright, so here she is. She's about 90% stripped down. We've got to do the underside of the trunk and the little trunk gutter yet. But other than that, she is about as naked as the day she was born. Not a whole lot of surprises. In fact, the only surprises we have is the fact that there is as much car here as there is. So, need to decide. The inside of the door has a little bit of pitting on it, and then we've got a few holes and junk up here in the front there. So we're gonna see what they have for patches for these doors. Might possibly do a bottom one. The driver's side is a hair worse. This side, the rocker looks like they welded in a little patch in here that I might just redo. But other than that, we've got a little bit of pitting on the underside, which we'll get when we get it next door on the lift. Once you get up here into the quarter, we started at the top. Super happy, everything's going good, and then bleh. But this is pretty much what I assumed was going to be here from looking at the outside and smacking on it a little bit. So we're going to decide what we're going to do for rear quarters. I know I can get this rear patch from the line down back here like they did, and maybe I'll go a 1/4 inch below that line, do that, and then make this front lip by hand. It all depends on what I can find for patch panels. Really similar on the driver's side, so no big surprise there. We've got a little surprise, some fabrication and stuff that we're going to do on the back to this lip here in the trunk. So I'm really not too concerned with this top edge here, but then when you get to the bottom, and I'm hoping that it's just the top layer here, but when you get to the bottom edge, it's all pretty roached out. So this side not so much. Then as you come over here, we just stopped removing filler because those panels are going to have to get replaced. It looks like they had some kind of badge or something on here. I haven't found any pictures of what would have been on there originally. We know that there is SS badges over on this side. Small little collision there that was pulled out, and a little dinger on the back here, probably from the same incident. Other than that, no evidence of any big collisions. Here's that spot over here on this side, almost identical to the passenger side. A couple little dingers along that edge there, but you know, shopping carts, whatever. Nothing huge. There were a couple waves in this spot here, probably from people climbing over, jumping into the back, being that it's a convertible. I gotta finish stripping this rocker over on this side, but it feels like it's really close to what was on the other side. And then when you come around up front here, it's not very good lighting. Oh, there you go, that's a little better. This area here is pretty roached out and into the floor, so that piece will have to get replaced as well. Alright, so a few more boxes showed up from Detroit Speed today. We're going to go through all this stuff, check it with invoice, make sure it's all here, and we are set and ready to go. We are waiting on a few parts and patches that we're going to need to get the sheet metal and the fabrication done on the body. But first, we need to remove the drivetrain and the entire front end of this car. So we got the front end completely apart on this thing. Obviously, it was yellow. Who would have thought? I think we had a discussion about it. I don't know. There was some...
or it was yellow primer.
It could be. It's really light, so I don't think it was an actual color. I don't know. Someone might have more info on that. I'm not sure if it was when they were trying to put the clutch in or what, but they kind of boogered up the front of this frame up here. So we're gonna have to deal with that. It made it real fun because there is no way to get to these on the backside. It's all boxed in. So somehow they went through this hole or something and finagled it in there. Same thing with these up there. There's a super small 2-inch hole that you can kind of get a wrench into. These upper ones, it's a little rusty right here. I think these were actually welded in, like nut certs or something. The nut was welded to the back and it broke. So somebody must have come in and had this apart and tried to bolt it back together. But that was kind of fun. We kind of used the front end as pressure and it pulled the bolts tight so we could get the nuts off as it was coming off. So that wasn't too bad. So the last thing we need to do on this car before it goes over to fab, we're gonna get the heater out, all of that out. The throttle pedal's coming out, we're not reusing that. The steering column from the inside, all these little levers, wiring, master cylinder, all that's gonna come out, bare firewall, so we can get it all stripped. Then we're gonna move around to the inside. We were really hoping that this dash came out. It does not. So we'll probably get the column out and leave a lot of this other stuff in here.
Not easily, at least.
No, it's the entire pinch weld, they welded it in.
Whoa.
So we could maybe drill those out, and I don't know, did you look underneath? Is there a bolt for the bottom or?
No bolts.
No, that's welded all on the side. So
Yep.
no, that's not gonna be coming out. So we'll get the heater, glove box, all that stuff that we can get off of it, but other than that, she's ready to move next door.